Hi and welcome to Drummer's Review. I'm Nolly, and in today's video we've got a Mapex 30th anniversary snare drum for review. It's been 30 years since the start of the Mapex brand, and they've come a huge way, in more recent times solidifying their place as one of the biggest drum companies on the market, with a huge range of products and an impressive artist roster. And to celebrate this milestone, they've decided to produce a limited edition drum kit and snare drum, the latter of which we'll be looking at today. A throwback to the popular deep forest walnut snares of the 90s, this 30th anniversary model features an 8-ply walnut shell, updated with modern Mapex sonically bearing edges and sonic hoops. It's available exclusively as a 14 by 6.5 inch, and it's set to retail about £399. Let's see how it holds up in a few different tuning ranges before we come back with our thoughts. The first impression that I got was of an understated but handsome drum. The natural satin walnut has a rich, deep colour, smartly offset with the shiny chrome hardware, with the 30th anniversary logo plate and the head logo being the only signs that it's a limited edition drum. And I kind of like that Mapex have chosen to go down this route rather than making something overtly celebratory. The factory heads on this drum are USA-made Remos with a coated Ambassador X batter over an Ambassador snare side reso. The snare wires are premium Pure Sound Custom Series 16 strand, and speaking of which, we did find that careful adjustment of both of the tension adjusters was necessary to allow enough throw-off distance to prevent the wires from still sounding ever so slightly when disengaged. That said, we haven't found this to be an issue with other Black Panther snares we've played that use the exact same snare strainer system, and after a couple of minutes of dialing in, we were able to get stuck into playing. Elsewhere, tuning was a breeze with extremely even head pitch attainable on both batter and resonant sides of the drum, always a hallmark of a well-constructed instrument. Starting in a medium tuning and with the wires engaged, the sound had a very balanced overtone, and while we wouldn't exactly call it dry, it still felt very nicely under control, and articulation was immediately impressive. There's plenty of wire response, even at the softest dynamics played towards the rim of the drum. Mapex do make mention of the development of different bearing edge angles on top and bottom intentionally to increase articulation, and whilst there are probably multiple factors contributing to this, we can certainly say the snare should be classed as highly responsive. In a lower tuning, the drum emits a strong fundamental which is both even and clean sounding, but with plenty of character. It's a fat and warm tone that would work well for classic rock or pop ballads, though it might not have the kind of cutting impact that some modern styles might require. Finally, cranking it up high brought the drum to life with a very sharp rim shot and a pleasing dryness. Walnut is generally seen as quite a rich and dark shell material, and the byproduct of this is that you can tune up high without sacrificing body. Ultimately though, somewhere between medium and high tuning is where we felt this drum sat best, with a great balance of depth, articulation and attack. The snare off sound was pleasing across the board, though we did feel that the lower and mid tuning ranges brought out the best of the dark shell sound, where it did start verging on the thinner end of things in the upper ranges. And finally, the Sonic Saber hoops deliver a fat and full sounding cross stick across all of the tuning range. The build quality is flawless here, with a beautiful timber grain inside and out, and notably smooth bearing edges. Elsewhere, the shell hardware is excellent too, and all in all, it's just obvious why the Black Panther series has become such a staple of the professional snare drum market. Overall, this is a really classy drum with an air of maturity that exemplifies the best of what Mapex have put out over the course of their 30-year history. Collectability aside, this is a snare that would fit a wide range of genres and styles both sonically and visually, and it should go on to be a future classic as the Deep Forest snares of the 90s have become today. We had a lot of fun reviewing this snare, but as always we're keen to see what you think too, so do leave us a comment with your impressions. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can get notifications of our future videos, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on Drummers Review.